Empaths, welcome back to my channel and back to Journey Through the Tarot. This week we're talking about our experience with the Ace of Swords. We're introducing the history, symbolism, and divination of the Two of Swords. And this journey is inspired by Dirty and Divine, a transformative journey through the Tarot by Alice B. Grist. She spent a day with each card. We're spending a week, and we're getting a lot of our information from one of my tarot teachers, Robert M. Place, his book, The Tarot, History, Symbolism, and Divination. We're using the Waite-Smith Symbolism of the Rider Tarot deck. Looks like this. If you need any of those items, they're in my Amazon store, linked in the description. And all the links will be in the description if you need them. So let's get into our week with the Ace of Swords. Interesting transition week for me personally. I transitioned into a new job that involves communication, lots of communication, remote communication. So that's interesting. And I feel like I've had a lot to sort of integrate and learn and understand as I transition into that, as well as continue my other work, my healing practice, and the other things there, and still learning, like just making sure it all happens. All the other little projects I have, keeping up with friendship and communication there. It all seemed to be kind of accelerated there. Or just magnified, amplified there. Communication in general. So that was interesting. And I felt like I felt that my healing work really took on a new level this week. I felt like doing remote work with people, I really had even more of a connection, which is interesting because, you know, the Ace of Swords is about the air element, and the air element can be about distance and detachment and space, right? Space might technically be ether, but we don't have ether represented. So in the suits, right? So that was interesting. But certainly communication in all forms. So just really tuning in and noticing a transition in the healing work. Really felt like I was leveling up there. Stronger boundaries, certainly around my time, had to, right? Also better communication around my boundaries and really feeling those out, really understanding that, hearing the voice inside, really asserting some of those boundaries and being able to communicate them in a respectful way. A lot of the work I'm doing is customer relations with the new job, and that requires a bit of distance and detachment while still being empathetic. And for an empath, that's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think it's going to be a great muscle to build, to still have empathy, but practice sort of emotional detachment to the situation, right? So that I don't get triggered if there's anger or irritation. I can simply come from an empathetic place, but not get kind of hooked into the drama. Something interesting happened to me this week when I went to mail in my ballot. There was someone in the parking lot of the post office, and I was sort of looking at it was off hours, and I was looking at this mailbox outside to put your mail, and I was making sure the hours would work out so that it would be picked up in time and all of that. And a man walked over to me and said, "I'll take that for you." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." Like, it didn't even register to me what was happening. And then after he kind of walked away, got into his car, I started thinking, what did I just do? Like, I didn't know who that was. It didn't look like he was in. He approached me like a customer service agent would, or someone who was, working for the post office would. But I got confused because he didn't go inside the post office. He just got into this regular vehicle that didn't look like it was affiliated with the post office. So I got really scared. And I thought, wow, I just got my ballot stolen. So I just sort of handed it over. It wasn't like they stole it. So I was just so out of it from this new schedule, and the air pressure, interestingly, that we're in the air suit, the air pressure in my tires, there was an alert on the panel or whatever with an exclamation point to let me know that the air pressure was low in my tires. So I was kind of concerned about that, trying to drive really carefully. Didn't want to get a flat before I could fill up the tires. And so I just was like thinking about a million different things, still integrating information from the training at work. And so I was sort of not really all there. And it was a lesson for me about presence and the importance of presence. But long story short, I was going to report the incident, but I got confirmation from the post office that was someone that worked for the post office, that they were hand delivering it to another post office for me. And I mean, I lucked out on that one. I looked and I did receive an email confirmation that my ballot was received. But I'm telling you, I cried about that one. I was like, how could you let that happen? And I was like, even thinking to myself, you're an empath. You couldn't have detected, that wasn't legit. But it turned out that it was. I mean, what are the odds of that? So that was a very strange thing that happened. We also had Halloween, Samhain, and a nice full moon this week. It could have been very intense, but it actually was pleasant. I found it to be very pleasant. I mean, maybe there was a night where I was very overwhelmed, or at least very exhausted from everything that was happening. But yeah, I felt like I did some magic for Samhain blessings and things like that, and I felt really great about that. And yeah, it felt like a great week, a great new beginning. Working for a great company that cares about its employees and its customers. It just feels like that's really an alignment. And while it's exhausting to transition into a full-time position on top of everything else I'm doing, it just is, I feel like I have a lot to learn here. I do believe I co-created this experience of having this job while I'm doing my other stuff. I feel like there's a lot to learn here. Boundaries to learn, really get into that habit. And so I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be great. I can take it on the road with me. I mean, it's a little challenging because I have some equipment I have to take with me, but I can go on my vacation that I have scheduled and still work, make money while I'm there, not just twiddle my thumbs. So I'm really excited about that. And there was a workshop that was advertised to me with Cindy Dale, who is one of my mentor's mentors. And I took her workshop, which was just like this free webinar. And I think I'm going to take her training, which her language is a lot of what my mentor uses for her work, and in not all of it, because my mentor did create, Shelley Poovey of Body Attune did create a lot of the elements of her work, but she's trained with all kinds of different people to really enhance and support and grow as a practitioner and healer. And I found my style really integrating a lot of those elements this week. It really came together. I was really excited about that. And then I think I'm going to take the Cindy Dale training, which happens to work out time-wise on one of the nights where I'm not scheduled for work. It's going to be every Tuesday night, and those are one of the days I requested off. I was so happy about that, because if it didn't work out, there was no way I'd be able to take that time off in order to do it, but it worked out, and I took it as a sign. So I'm still able to grow my skills while having this job. And I mean, that's amazing. I'm so grateful for that. So my vortex is doing its work. The vortex I supported clients in creating, they're having incredible experiences and results, and really co-creating some amazing things there. So that was really great to hear that feedback, and learning to really tighten that experience and make it even better. And so I love that. And yeah, I think that's about it with this week. I don't think I missed anything. I think that's about it. So let me know in the comments what your week with the Ace of Swords was. Right? A triumph, an integrity, a victory, new beginning. Yeah, really incredible. So let's move into the history, symbolism, and divination of the Two of Swords. So we'll start with Robert M. Place's write-up. He says, a woman sits on the edge of the sea with her back to it. Like several others of Smith's pips, she appears to be sitting on a stage in front of a backdrop as if she were a character in a play. The waxing moon is out. It is a time of rest, but action will come in the future. She is holding two swords as if deciding between two alternatives. Her position is awkward, and she will not be able to hold them long. She is like justice without her scales and faced with two courses of action. Without the information from her scales, the woman will have to base her decision on intuition instead of logic. She is not comfortable with this method. So what might it mean if we get the Two of Swords in a spread? The divination of the Two of Swords. Not processing anything, not seeing things, blind, indecision, stalemate, wanting to go within for answers, air of standing still while things move around them, choosing inaction, inner conflict. A hoodwinked figure balances two swords upon her shoulders, conformity and the equipoise which it suggests, courage, friendship, affection, concord in a state of arms, intimacy. And Alice B. Grist's intuitive meaning, life is scary. We have no control, not really. The map we think we tread is in fact rather precarious. It isn't as well trodden or inevitable as we hope. We are one step from falling spectacularly into turbulent, abject failure at any moment. What keeps us safe and dry is faith. Faith that the sun will rise, that we will make it through the day alive and well. One day that faith will be misplaced. Yet we have it anyway. We must. Apply that to those things that you invest with fear and allow it to carry you through. Foolishly faithful till the end. And then looking at the Biddy Tarot, I love Bridget's write-ups. They're really, really thorough. Difficult decisions, weighing up options, and impasse, avoidance. The Two of Swords indicates that you are facing a challenging decision, but you are unclear about which option to take. Wrong one. But you were unclear about which option to take. Both possibilities may seem equally good or equally bad, and you are stumped about which will lead you to the best outcome. You must be able to weigh up the pros and cons of each choice and then make a conscious judgment. Use both your head, your mind and the intellect, and your heart, your feelings and intuition to choose the path that is most in alignment with your higher self. In a reading, it may be helpful to draw further 2 cards for either side of the 2 swords to show what it is you are trying to decide upon or balance. You may also like to draw 4 more cards for the pros and cons of each choice. The woman in this card wears a blindfold, indicating that she cannot see the entirety of her circumstance. You may lack the information you need to make the right decisions. You may be missing something, such as the threats or potential risks, alternative solutions, or critical pieces of information that would help guide you in a particular direction. Once you remove the blindfold and see the situation for what it really is, you will be in a much better position to find your best path forward. Research your options more, seek outside opinions and feedback, and ask yourself what you might be missing. It is also possible that the woman in the 2 of Swords has intentionally chosen to put on the blindfold to avoid making a choice. Are you trying to hide from a challenging situation or impending decision, hoping that if you ignore it long enough, you won't need to worry about it? Unfortunately, the issue is unlikely to resolve itself, and the longer you delay, the longer you will prolong this present situation. Similarly, the 2 of Swords can reflect indecision and an impasse on an important matter. Again, you can only put it off so long. At some point, you will have to make a move. The 2 of Swords comes as a reminder that many of life's decisions are difficult ones and rarely come with clear-cut answers. The invitation is to make your choices with your best intentions, fully aware of the possible consequences. Avoidance will lead to greater conflict and stagnation. So that's what we're going to be looking at for this week. Deepening our experiences with the 2 of Swords. So let's use some sound to integrate more deeply the Ace of Swords and intend for more synchronicities and experiences that deepen that understanding of the 2 of Swords this week. You might want to close your eyes and get in touch with your breath. Beautiful. Coming back to the room in your own time. So looking forward to a week with the 2 of Swords. Just seeing what comes up there. Yeah, I hope that you're enjoying this experience. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comments what your experiences are here. And if you need a session or to donate or just to reach out, all the links will be in the description. I will see you in the next one. Bye, Empath.